She sat alone in the corner of the office cafeteria, her lunch untouched, eyes fixed on the floor as whispers and laughter floated around her. Every glance from her colleagues seemed loaded with judgment, every comment like a dagger she couldn't dodge. It wasn't always like this. She had joined this place with hope and ambition, believing she would be respected and valued. But now she felt invisible and vulnerable, a target of constant teasing and subtle digs that slowly chipped away at her confidence. From the very beginning, it seemed like no matter what she did, she couldn't escape the sting of cruel remarks or the cold shoulders from her peers. Notes left on her desk, sarcastic emails, and snide comments in meetings became a daily routine she dreaded. Each incident, though small on its own, piled on top of the others until she felt weighed down by an invisible chain of humiliation. Nights became restless as she replayed every hurtful word, wondering if she was overreacting or if she truly was failing to fit in. She tried to cope in her own way, smiling when spoken to, avoiding confrontations, keeping her head down, but nothing seemed to work. The isolation grew heavier, and self-doubt seeped into every corner of her life, making her question her worth and abilities. Yet, deep inside, a small spark refused to die, a whisper reminding her that this pain didn't have to be her story's ending. She just didn't yet know how to find the strength to fight back and reclaim her life. Little did she know, the very experiences that broke her would soon become the foundation of her transformation. What started as unbearable torment would eventually guide her toward resilience, courage, and redemption. This was not just a tale of suffering. It was the beginning of a journey towards self-discovery and the power to rise above every shadow cast by cruelty. Every day felt like walking into a storm she couldn't escape. Her colleagues whispered as she passed, sometimes snickering when she looked away. Notes mocking her ideas appeared on her desk, and during meetings, her suggestions were either ignored or twisted into jokes. Even casual conversations turned into traps where her words were twisted to ridicule her. She tried to keep a brave face, nodding politely and forcing smiles, but the weight of constant judgment gnawed at her. Nights became the hardest part. Lying in bed, her mind replayed every insult, every laugh behind her back, every dismissive glance. She felt isolated, even in a room full of people, as if a transparent wall separated her from the rest of the world. Occasionally, someone offered a kind word or a sympathetic glance, but it was never enough to counter the avalanche of cruelty. She began avoiding social interactions, skipping lunch breaks, and even considering leaving the job she once loved. Each day chipped away at her confidence, replacing it with fear and anxiety. Yet somewhere deep inside, a flicker of determination remained, fragile but alive, hinting that she might someday find a way out of this suffocating darkness. One particularly harsh day changed everything. A prank had gone too far, and she found herself humiliated in front of everyone during a crucial presentation. Her heart raced, cheeks burned, and for a moment, she felt utterly defeated. But instead of retreating as she always did, a spark of defiance emerged. She realized she could no longer let fear control her life. That evening, she reflected on every incident that had made her feel small and powerless. She decided it was time to seek help. She reached out to a mentor, someone she trusted, and shared her experiences honestly. Therapy sessions followed, teaching her strategies to regain self-confidence and cope with anxiety. She started building a support system, confiding in friends who encouraged her to speak up. Slowly, she began standing her ground, challenging small injustices, asserting her ideas in meetings, and refusing to let ridicule define her. Each small victory felt like a stepping stone toward reclaiming her identity. Over time, she realized that her tormentors' words only had power if she let them. Months passed, and the woman transformed into someone unrecognizable to her former self. Her confidence radiated in every interaction, and colleagues began respecting her opinions and contributions. She no longer flinched at whispers or laughter. Instead, she focused on her growth and achievements. The once intimidating bullies found their power diminished as she refused to react with fear, instead responding calmly, firmly, and sometimes with empathy. Her journey inspired others who had quietly suffered, and she began mentoring those struggling in similar situations. By sharing her story, she turned pain into purpose, demonstrating that resilience could overcome cruelty. She even helped one of her former tormentors recognize their behavior, fostering a rare but meaningful reconciliation. Beyond professional success, she discovered emotional freedom, the ability to live without fear, to laugh without hesitation, and to embrace every opportunity that came her way. In the final scene, she stands confidently in a meeting room, smiling at a colleague who thanks her for guidance. Her story becomes a beacon of hope, proving that no matter how deep the wounds, redemption is possible through courage, perseverance, and compassion. Pain had shaped her, but it no longer defined her. She had risen, stronger and wiser than ever before. Her journey shows that pain does not have to define who we are. Every struggle she faced became a lesson in strength, courage, and resilience. By standing up for herself and choosing growth over fear, she transformed her life completely. This story is a reminder that even in the darkest moments, hope and redemption are always possible. No matter how deep the wounds, healing begins the moment we decide to rise above them. Her experiences teach us that kindness, perseverance, and self-belief can turn suffering into purpose. What once seemed like an endless storm became the very force that shaped her into someone stronger. Remember, no matter the challenges, you too have the power to turn pain into triumph. Some stories don't end when the video ends. If this one moved you and meant something to you, stay with us, subscribe for stories that change the way you see life.